say people come, they say people go. This particular diamond was extra special. I know you might be gone and the world may not know, still I see you celestial. And I should, but I can't let you go. But when I'm cold, yeah, when I'm cold, there's a lot that you give me when I'm in shadow. There's a feeling within me, an everglow. Like brothers in blood, or sisters who ride. Yeah, we swore on that night we'd be friends till we died. But the changing of winds and the way waters flow, life is short as the falling of snow. And I'm gonna miss you, I know. But when I'm cold, you won't roll. So I know you're always with me, and the way you will show, and you're with me wherever I go. And you give me this feeling, this everglow. And what I wouldn't give for just a moment to hold, because I live for this feeling, this everglow. So if you love someone, you should let them know, oh, the light that you give me will ever glow.
I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I rise up, I like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. With you, with you, with you, with you. When the silence is quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Coombe Lodge on this very special day for the marriage of Josie and Thomas. Do you, Dave, give Josie's hand in marriage to Thomas and wish them well on their journey through life together?
I do.
Emphatically. Thank you, Dave. You can sit.
Thomas Keith Bigwood.
Take you, Josie Ann Cridland,
Take you, Josie and Cridland,
to be my wedded wife.
to be my wedded wife.
Josie, please can you repeat after me? I, Josie Ann Cridland, take you, Thomas Keith Bigwood, to be my wedded husband.
Hello was the end of her endings. Her laugh was their first step down the aisle. His hand would be hers to hold forever. His forever was as simple as her smile. He said,
Represents our love.
I vow to love you and care for you.
I vow to love for you and care for you.
I shall spend my life with you
I will spend my life with you
and share everything I have with you.
and share everything I have with you.
The spring represents our love.
I vow to love you and care for you.
I vow to love you and care for you.
I shall spend my life with you
I shall spend my life with you
and share everything I have with you.
and share everything I have with you.
Now you can push them.
My daughter to her husband, she vows to help you love life, to always hold you with tenderness, and to have the patience that love demands, to speak when words are needed, and to share the silence when they are not, to agree to disagree on chocolate cake, and to live within the warmth of your heart and always call it home. She vows to fiercely love you in all your forms, now and forever. She promises to never forget that this is a once-in-a-lifetime love, and to always know in the deepest part of her soul that no matter what challenges might carry you both apart, you will always find your way back to each other.
It gives me great pleasure to declare that you are now husband and wife. Congratulations!
To me, I love my life. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am free. I love my life. I am wonderful. I am magical. I am me. I love my life. I am not my mistakes, and God knows I've made a few. I started to question the angels, and the answer they gave was you. I cannot promise there won't be sadness. I wish I could take it from you, but you'll find the courage to face the madness and sing it because it's true. I love my life. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am free. I love my life. I am wonderful. I am magical. I am me. I love my life. Fire be others with hearts like yours. Run far, run free. I'm with you. I love my life. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am free. I love my life.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. Welcome.
Before I start, there's a lot of hidden agendas and games going on today. Some of you will understand the jokes, others won't, but the first one I've got to do, and they'll know who I mean, I have to say about 50 times, I. As Josie's mum, as you can imagine, I was thrilled when she asked me to make the speech today. And then I was slightly horrified at the thought of how many things should I tell you about Jose before she never ever speaks to me again. So here goes, Jose. Hold on to your hat. Some of you will know I have two wonderful daughters. My eldest daughter over here, Sophie, and of course my bestest youngest daughter, Josie. And today is about honouring you, Josie. And there's no rivalry there at all. So what can I say about Jose? Well, the first time I saw Jose was when she was born, of course. She landed on my tummy and all I could see was a mass of dark hair in her bum. I don't mean she had a hairy bottom. She had a shock of dark hair and her bum. And as she was born, she laid there with her back to me and her face in turn looked out to the world. Those beautiful eyes opened and looked at the world around her. And that's basically what she's done ever since. She's looked the world straight in the face and took on whatever challenges faced her with a strength and a determination to succeed. And I couldn't be more proud as her mum. All right so far, Jose? Still speaking to me? It'll change, but you're still speaking to me. She was a quiet toddler. That changed too, obviously, as she got older. But she was a little untidy. And for those of you that know her well, she's quite meticulous and tidiness with her cleanliness now. But she wasn't back then. I think the pivotal moment that Jose changed from being untidy to tidy when she was about 4 years old, and she decided after we'd had a major refurbishment in the house, we'd built a brand new bathroom, fitted a new bathroom suite, painted and decorated, fitted the new carpets, but she decided it all needed a good clean. So when our backs was turned, she put the plug in the sink, switched on the tap, and we didn't find the resulting few inches of serve water across the floor for quite some time. So thank you for that. She was cheeky and funny and beautiful, and we were not at all surprised when she decided, like a lot of children do, that when she grew up, she wanted to be a star. Now, you would think, wouldn't you, knowing Jose, that she would be aiming for modelling or wanting to be part of the Spice Girls or something like that. But no, Josie's first win on stage, are you ready for this? Can you remember? God. Can you remember what it was? Was a Frank Spencer sound-alike competition. Ask her later to give you a rendition later of Betty, and you'll see the talent. I think you're still quite good at it, Jose, aren't you? Now, as you all also know, Jose does like an odd drink or two. And like the stardom, she clearly started this at a young age. Many, many moons ago, we used to house a tropical fish tank, which was positioned quite high on a shelf, quite high up in the dining room. Yet again, I turned my back for a few minutes, and when I turned around, there she was, having dragged across a small coffee table, loaded a dining room chair on the top, and climbed the mountain, only to be scooping handfuls of water from the tank and drinking it. I don't know who was more surprised, me or the fish. But needless to say, she hasn't stopped drinking since. And then, of course, she got to her teenage years and found boys. Now,
all right, Job. Yes, she did. Yeah,
she did, George, didn't she? I'm not telling a lie, am I? Now, I've been given strict instructions of what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say on the subject, but I'm going to ignore all of them anyway. Josie's first boyfriend, at the tender age of about 15, was called Tom. Now, I'm not sure if that remained the criteria for choosing boyfriends, but it was obviously a good starting point when she first met you, Tom. Now, the first Tom, and I know he won't mind me mentioning this, the first Tom was called Tom Ware, spelled W-A-R-E.
Why are we going there?
And at the age of 16, he and Jose, to their later regret, I think, decided to join Dave and I with a couple of friends, who are also here, our dear friends over there, for a meal in the evening. Tom was somewhat uncomfortable at the time, as unbeknown to us, he had had his surname Ware tattooed in rather large letters in a semicircular design above his left nipple, and it was sore. He made the big mistake of undoing his shirt and showing it proudly to us. And we spent the rest of the evening asking if he was going to have words like Tupperware, or somewhere, etc., tattooed above his right nipple to match. By the end of the evening, the whole pub was in uproar. Tom took it in good heart, but I fear Jose, as a shy 16-year-old, has yet to forgive us. In fact, I seem to recall that she said at the time, "Never again. I'll never introduce you to anyone else, not unless they are really important." And of course, this Tom, you were important. And she brought you round to meet us, and as they say, you all know the rest. However, Tom, a word of warning, if you ever feel the need to have the name Big Wood tattooed. You enjoying it so far, Joe? It gets worse. And then after this very important Tom came into our lives and plans for the wedding got underway, other very important events were arranged. No, I don't mean booking the registrar or ordering the flowers. I mean the important organisation of the hen and the stag do. Now, I'm not, but I think the phrase of what happened in Marbs stays in Marbs is what agreed between the hens, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, suffice to say, the only secret I'm going to let on is that they all had a drink, perfectly innocent, but it was served by a butler, wasn't it, girls? I'm not sure where he hung his towel, though. Now, as for the stag do in Vegas, now I wasn't there, and there are secrets there too, I fancy. All I can say is that I recently had an American chap on the phone who was suffering from a very sore head and said he thinks he has a golf club belonging to one of you chaps.
Molly!
I suspect the best man may have a story or two about that one, but I'll leave it to you, Luke. And now the serious bit. A thank you first to the gorgeous bridesmaids. I know each and every one give Josie a lot of friendship and support and have helped her very much over the years, and especially in supporting her today. You all look absolutely stunning. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. He came into our lives back in 2013 when he and Josie started seeing each other, and what a gentleman he is. As a mum and parents, you can only wish that any prospective husband for your daughter is a kind, caring, honest, hard-working and loving man and a good dad to any children. And Tom, dearest, that is exactly what you are. And for that, Dave and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You have loved and looked after Jose, and in doing so, you look after us too. Our family is only richer for having you and your family in it. Josie, my baby, who will always be my baby and my friend, and you do look absolutely stunning. Thank you for being a wonderful daughter, for being cheeky, funny, caring, and for being a fantastic mum to our beautiful grandson, Charlie. I'm privileged to be your mum. I held your hand as a child, but you will hold my heart forever, and I will always be proud of you. Thank you for being my sunshine. And to the new Mr. and Mrs. Bigwood, I know that you will all agree with me when I wish them much luck, prosperity, good health and happiness for their future together. I've got 3 toasts to make, and then I've got something else to add on to the end, but the toast first. And the first toast, I'm afraid you have been upstaged, is to our gorgeous grandson Charlie, who's been such a dear. To add in a second, as I say, but for a moment, can I ask you to raise your glasses to the bride and groom, Josie and Tom? So imagine, if you will, the 25th of November, 2057. It's called If I Could Just Remember, and it goes something like this. Excuse me. I. Not the start of the poem. If I could just remember how many years it is since we were wed, but my memory is slightly older and I get a little muddled in my head. But Tom, I think it's 40 years since we first said I do. Our ruby wedding anniversary, and nothing's changed between me and you. Well, nothing that you'd notice, no big changes that are worth a mention, except maybe your hair's a little thinner and you're closer to your pension. As for me, well, I appreciate that rollers in my hair is not the prettiest of sights, but I promise not to wear them in the day, only through the night. And that green exfoliating cream, which I apply to every inch of my anatomy, is just to keep the wrinkles all at bay so you still fancy me. Now, big knickers are a comfort item, so please don't take the mick. And anyway, they match so nicely with my favourite winceyette. But where has all the time gone and how the years have flown? It seems like only yesterday that we first set up home. The 25th of November 2017, our wedding day of bliss. Tom, are you listening? I'm trying to reminisce. Now, Tom, this is your bit. Now, you support a team, are they famous, Man U or something?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, this bit's for you. Yes, dear, it's just the footy's on and I'd like to watch the television. Man U are playing, and if they win, they'll be top of the first division. If I could just remember if they've ever won before. But my mind's a little older and I'm often quite unsure. I have arthritis in my hip and playing football is no longer an option. But given the chance and given a beer, I still like to sit and watch them. I know my head's a little fuzzy and I suffer from fatigue, but darling, can you remind me, have they ever won the league? Tom, don't you recall how we have lived and enjoyed all of our adventures? The biggest problem we now face is remembering to clean our dentures. And if I could just remember when I gaze at the fridge with a vacant stare, have I come to take food out or just to leave some there? Shopping includes prescriptions and a variety of coloured pills, yellow, blue and purple ones to stop a host of different ills. And hemorrhoid liniment tackles the hidden lesions. You know, the ones that we don't talk about in the nether regions. Bunion embrocation is an absolute must to keep us on our feet, but there is no cream for memory, that one just has us beat. Well, if I could just remember, but things are a little vague. Our hearing started to deteriorate, and your cardigans are now beige. The eyesight has got worse, and bifocals we now wear, and HSL, the chair specialists, supply our favourite lifting chair. But darling, we are man and wife, and the greatest thing of all is that we've shared our time together, and the big things and the small. And I know that we took our wedding vows so very seriously, when you promised not to eat my chocolate-covered Oreos, as they would always belong to me.
Angelos.
If I could just remember all the things I'd like to say, all the happiness you've given me since our wedding day. But I still love you, dearest, and have treasured all the laughter and the tears. Thank you for those memories and for 40 happy years.
Thank my usher. The usher, my brother James. As you know, James was in the Marines for a lot of the last 10 years. He's been away from us and his friends. As a brother, we have always been very close. And even though he hasn't always been here, I know that he's always been there for me. Albeit, ladies and gents, I'm a little bit worried about today. Being in the Marines for so long has changed him a little bit.
It was always like that.
And there is a lot of men in suits, so... All I would say is just watch your ass on the Bachelor. So, James, Emily, Jordan, Lindsay, and her sister, Sophie. I would like to thank you not only being fantastic friends to my wife,
Oh, that's nice.
but for everything you did to organise the hen do. The effort you put in to making a good weekend and the love she felt from you guys. I can safely say she was touched. And when I say the best man, Luke. So I kind of wrote it. I was meant to do it after Luke, but so thank you for the kind words you're about to say. So much together as friends. Football back in the day, charity rides, Glastonbury, road trips, holidays away, but to name a few. I couldn't have asked for or got a better best man. Now, I know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But Luke organised a thought-out, fun, and once-in-a-lifetime trip that I will literally never forget. All I will say is...
Were you touched?
The stag do... Keith, my father, is also my boss, my work colleague, as well as my dad. It's fair to say, Dad, sometimes we don't always see eye to eye. Sometimes I have to bite my lip. And sometimes Mum turns into a referee. To be fair, it's not too often. But I know you have always been there for me and always will be there for us. I love you, Dad, and thank you for everything you have ever done for me. Now, behind every great man, there is a woman, my mum. Mum, now as a parent, I really appreciate the love, care, support, and guidance you demonstrated to me and James. You continue to show this to Josie, myself, Josie, and Charlie. We will never be able to tell you enough how much we love you, but I hope you know. So, thank you, Mum and Dad. Thank you. Just thank you. I appreciate that you and your daughter are very similar. And there are some very strong characteristic traits. And I do wonder where they come from. You know how much I love my wife, but sometimes she can be very stubborn. Well, not just very, very.
I'm not sure I like where this is going.
Bull-headed and straight talking.
I love you too, babe.
Is this a family trait?
Of course.
And what advice would you give me to deal with this?
Do as you're told.
Sorry, Debs. Straight away, I've been made to feel like a son. I am subject to the love, caring, and support you've always shown Josie and Sophie. Despite the hard times Josie tells me about, the girl's been brought up hard-working, polite, and respectful in your shadow. The unconditional love that you have shown is clear for all to see with your family. And now I see it with mine. So I thank you. And yeah. So I love playing golf. I've played it from a very young age and consider that I'm very much better than Dad.
That's not hard.
That's not very hard. Me and Dad used to play a regular basis at the no longer Taunton Vale Golf Club. On a frequent visit to the club, I couldn't help spotting a girl that worked there. She was known to me and the other blokes as the fit bird behind the bar. I won't say anyone that, just. And every time I spoke to the fit bird behind the bar, there was a shyness. We both could tell we liked each other. One night I was out with the boys in Taunton, and in the same club was the Fitbird from behind the bar. Of course, on this occasion I was full of Dutch courage, or Thatcher's as it's more commonly known. I said, "Hey, you're the Fitbird from behind the bar." At the golf club. From that first night, I can really say, I have met my soulmate. Words cannot describe what you mean to me, Jose, and the way you make me feel. You truly are my best friend. You have given us our family, our son, Charlie. And if it's possible, I love you a bit more with every day that passes. You have shown me how much you care for Charlie, and I couldn't ask for a better wife or a better mummy. I promise you, Josie Bigwood, I will do whatever I can.
Drift words, you know, C word.
So, I promise you, Josie Bigwood, I will do whatever I can, whenever I can, as long as I can. Or as long as I can.
Right, before I start, I just want to speak to Josie and Tom a second. Josie, if you could just place your right hand on the table here for me. And Tom, if you could place your left hand on top of Josie's hand and keep it there throughout my speech. Is that going okay? You going to be comfortable doing that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good, I'll move on. Josie, I think it's fair to say, and I think everyone will agree, that there can't be many brides that have ever looked as beautiful as you do today.
No.
Proving once again that Tom is punching way above his head. Seriously, thank you both for involving all of us in this, the most special day of your lives. It really has been an emotional day. Even the cake is in tears. Tom, you will leave here today with a beautiful wife who is loving, warm and caring. Josie, you will leave here today with a beautiful dress and some nice flowers. Now, I know you're all keen to hear my thoughts on the man of the moment, the special guy, and I was lucky enough to spend a bit more time with him yesterday, and just reminded me what an amazing person he is. He's got an infectious smile, an impeccable dress sense, although I think Josie has something to do with that. But I'm not here to talk about Charlie. Now, I knew Tom for quite some time before we properly met. The first time we actually met was at the was at the New Beer Festival. Now, I ummed and ahed about how I was going to start this story, and I'm not one for plagiarism. However, I think you'll forgive me in this case, because Tom was also my best man, and at my wedding he told this same story because it was the time we first met. And as true to form a minute ago in his speech, well, he uttered the immortal lines, "I first came across Luke in a field near North Newton." and The best thing is he didn't get the joke, and it completely threw him on the speech because everyone was roaring laughing. I was being serious. Now, some of you here may know that my mum until recently, worked at Heathfield School, which is the school that Tom and I both attended, which was quite useful because I was able to get a copy of Tom's school report from Year 11. So I've only got the summary from the first page, but I'll quote it from here. Tom was an ideal pupil who excelled at all Hang on. No. Tom was an idle pupil who should have been expelled from all subjects.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
After leaving school with such a glowing report, Tom spent a small amount of time at McDonald's flipping burgers. Although, yeah, he always gets really funny. You don't flip burgers at McDonald's now.
Whoa.
You use a 50 kilowatt twin contact grill, apparently. After McDonald's, he then went on to work at Volkswagen with Dave over there, where he started washing wheels and tyres and then worked his way all the way up to washing cars and vans. Now, as you all know, of course, he's now worked his way up to work at the esteemed family business as service manager at Bigwood Agri Limited. Is that correct? Where, by his father and his colleagues and the wider farming community, he is simply known as God. God, where is he? God, what is he up to now? And God, is he playing golf again? As I alluded to there, and as was alluded to earlier, Tom likes his sport, both playing and watching. And he's travelled all over the world to fulfil this love. I'm lucky enough, or stupid enough, to have gone on some of these trips with Tom. And although I will say that we always have a great time, and we really do always have great fun, some of the people in the room have been on these trips, I also have to say that Tom is a complete and total liability and almost a danger to people around him. I've got just a list of a couple here, and I'll try and keep it brief. Every trip, seriously, it's like some kind of damage to property or destruction of property in some way. I can remember being in the Alps somewhere with Tom. We were walking along like a cliff edge, and I get this knowing call. It's beats, which is what he calls me when there's going to be some mischief's going to happen. And I went over to see what he was doing, and he found a load of lorry tyres that had been kind of dumped, and he was throwing them off this cliff, and they were falling like 100 foot off this cliff and shooting across this valley. Sorry. Luckily, the family that were walking through the valley weren't badly injured. And I believe the guy is now walking again. And then another one was we were on a 20-storey building in Valencia, and many bad things happened there. But the one I'm going to tell you about is I got the famous call again. I got beats. So I go and find Tom and see what he's doing, and he's chucking watermelons off the 20-storey building down the central shaft. There is a roof at floor 4, so it's not actually as dangerous as it sounds, but the noise it makes sounds like a bomb going off, which Tom found really, really funny. Well, I didn't find actually. Now we're on the topic of stag do's. I think we'll talk about Tom's stag do, but we'll also talk about my stag do, because as I said, Tom was my best man, and I want to say first of all that I did have a brilliant stag do, and Tom was a great best man, he really was, and we had a great time, but we're just going to do a little bit of comparison. I found some emails, actually, from the original email chain when we were organising my stag do, so I've got an email here, I'm going to read it word for word. Hey Tom, I hope your little problem has cleared up, mate. Have you tried TCP? As for stag do options, I was thinking maybe somewhere with a good nightlife, maybe some gambling and some decent places to eat. Speak later, Luke. That was in 2007 I sent that. Now what's remarkable is I've managed also to retrieve an email from Tom to me just a year and a half ago. Hi Luke, I hope the lawn is cleared up. Have you tried Roundup? On the topic of stag do's, I was thinking somewhere with a few casinos, some good bars or clubs, and definitely a McDonald's or other decent places to eat. Now I think you'll agree that's a pretty similar brief. Yeah. So let's have a look and see how they compared. So the hotel that Tom booked for me, the Fairmont. Sounds right? Yeah. Address: 15 Priory Road, Bournemouth, Dorset, England. It's all right. The hotel that I booked for Tom, the Luxor. Address: 3900 Las Vegas Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, America. Now let's see what the website says about the Luxor. You're going to have to bear with me here. A $900 million, 30-storey luxury pyramid resort featuring 4,400 rooms, 120,000 square foot of casino floor, 4 swimming pools, several high-end restaurants, bars and nightclubs, 29 retail outlets, and the world-famous Luxor beam, a 375,000-watt beam of light which can be seen from 270 miles away on a clear night and is the brightest beam of light in the world. Pretty impressive, I think you'll agree. Let's see what the website says about Thermos. Low-key property offering understated rooms at budget price. I have what TripAdvisor says about the Luxor. Average 4 out of 5 star. And a real review. I have taken this from TripAdvisor. The Luxor was the best hotel I ever stayed in. The staff at the front desk were great. The housekeeping crew in this place are awesome. I recommend this place to anybody. Thanks for the best time, Luxor. We came for a vacation with friends and had the best time ever. We'll definitely be back. Pretty good review for the Luxor, I think you'll agree. Now a review for the Fairmont. What TripAdvisor says. 1 out of 5. And a genuine review. This is a genuine review as well, I can show you later. Do not stay in this absolute dump of a hotel. And I use the term hotel loosely. I cannot convey strongly enough how disgusting this place is. Blood-stained headboards that have clearly been there since the war, the first one. Rude staff, windows that won't close, no hot water, broken furniture, dirty utensils, broken light fixings, and actual poo in the kettle. I am pretty sure that I am going to end up with some sort of rash or disease due to the sanitation conditions similar to that of a homeless crackhead. In summary, this place is a complete hole. Now, I'm not going to offer Tom any cliched joke advice about kind of my experience of marriage or anything like that, but what I have done is I've done Tom a massive favour. You see, I asked Tom to place his hand on Josie at the start, and it's been my absolute pleasure for the last 9 minutes. How long is it? How many? It's been my absolute pleasure for the last 14 minutes, Tom, to give you the upper hand over Josie. It really will. It really will be the last time. Guys, seriously this time. Marriage is not about finding somebody you can live with. It's about finding somebody that you cannot live without. And I think that everyone will agree that you two have definitely achieved that. So well done, guys. We're very pleased for you. Could everybody please re-stand now and join me in a toast? Raise your glasses to our bride and groom. We wish them all well for the future, and we hope with all our hearts that they enjoy a long and happy marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Tom and Josie, the new Mr. and Mrs. Bigwood.
Sell the space for the hard work day. It's the little things, not expectation that make life